Now, your hosts, Vicki Hyman and Erin Medley.
Hello and welcome to Remote Possibilities. I am Erin Medley alongside Vicki Hyman. Vicki, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. We have a big show today because we are going to be speaking to We McDonald.
Yes.
Who is a New Jersey contestant on The Voice this season.
Front runner.
Front runner. You've been following the show.
Oh, of course
This
I'm
is
following the
This
show.
is a show you like, right?
I do like the show. I also think it's interesting how we never get a New Jersey and anywhere on American Idol, but we always seem to do real well on The Voice.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to ask what the audition process is like.
Okay.
All right. So I feel like it's time for me to break up with a few shows.
Okay, really? What shows?
Yes. Okay, so my DVR has just decided not to record a few things on its own, and then I forgot all about them, like Frequency. I was like, oh, shoot, I haven't seen that in 2 weeks.
I haven't seen it since the first week, which I enjoyed.
The problem with these time travel shows, I'm still watching Timeless, even though you're behind.
I am 2 episodes behind, but every intention of watching them.
But now that I'm trying to catch up on Frequency, and I've been watching Timeless, I'm getting my time travel shows confused.
But Frequency isn't really a time travel show. It's just in 2 different timelines. Yes, timelines.
This is true, but on Timeless, I got really confused when, she returned to the present day and she had a boyfriend.
She has a boyfriend, and then in Frequency, of course, she comes back to... Well, she doesn't come back. She's in the present day, but
right.
Changes that she and her father had made result in her not having a boyfriend.
Right.
Wah, wah.
So that's why I got confused, because on Timeless, I was like, well, didn't she have a boyfriend before? No, guys, that was Frequency. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm going to have to dump Frequency. Okay. Not that it's not a good show, and not that Timeless is a good show, because I don't think Timeless is that great of a show. But Timeless, for me, is more fun and freewheeling, whereas Frequency is so serious because she's dealing with her murdered mother, whereas in Timeless, it's just her non-existent mother. The parallels are insane.
Okay.
I
think it's her non-existent sister now.
Oh,
unless
sister.
there have been more changes
You're right.
that I missed in the last 2 episodes.
No, her sister. And then also, I know you love time travel.
I do.
But I get so confused about how, when they come back from the past on Timeless and then things in the present are changed, but everyone still remembers that...
Everybody in the pod, the 3 people in the pod remember.
They remember everything, but the people in the present remember the project that they're all working on, but then other things have changed that either they don't remember or are different now.
I think it's interesting, why don't they come back and find out that the project is no longer
correct
there?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't understand.
The show would be over.
I don't understand time travel methodology, or mythology, not methodology either. I guess
I think both.
Okay, and also I'm breaking up with Jane the Virgin.
But didn't she lose her virginity last night?
Oh, did she?
I think
I don't
she
know.
might have.
Spoiler alert.
Okay.
Or on Monday night.
All I'm thinking is, I'm sorry, Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
Okay.
Yep.
All I'm remembering is a headline, and I'm like, look
really?
at that. And I meant to click on it. I clicked on
I think
something
she's
else
married
instead.
now. Unsure, because I stopped watching last season, and I'm kind of just like, meh.
But you love Jane the Virgin.
I did. I love Gina Rodriguez.
Is it a time thing?
I think it's a time thing, and I think it was too repetitive, and then it got so over the top that I was just like, eh. And she's going back and forth between the one guy and the other guy, and I'm kind of over it.
I'm several episodes behind a Designated Survivor now. I think
Me
I'm
too.
3 episodes behind.
Me too. We're on the same page.
But, another show that I enjoyed, interested to see where it goes, but I have to find the time to watch it.
Right.
And I'm too busy watching. And Netflix, stop. Can I just tell Netflix, just stop?
Uh-oh.
Too much TV. I cannot keep up.
It is hard to keep up.
It's very hard. Every time I turn on Netflix, I'm
there's
just
something
there's
new.
something new. I'm like, oh, I want to see that.
Right.
And
we're both
can't.
watching Luke Cage.
We're both in episode 9 of Luke
Yeah,
Cage,
we're
which
both
we
in
will
episode
discuss
9.
probably in an upcoming
I think when
episode.
we finish, we discuss the whole season.
I think I'll finish it this week.
I can do that. Okay. Because there are only 13 episodes. It's not that far. All right, so let's get into some TV news here. Sad news, Vicki.
Okay.
NBC has passed on the Cruel Intentions reboot.
Yes. I was happy about that.
But that will be shopped around, so it could still happen. The series was supposed to pick up more than 15 years after the 1999 movie.
Why?
I agree. Why?
I mean, it was sort of clever what they did with Dangerous Liaisons, but I don't really need to see any more of those terrible people.
I agree. And there was also Cruel Intentions too. Can't we just leave it there?
Oh my God, with it was so cheesy with subpar actors.
Right.
It was just
always
terrible.
is.
Yes,
it's like Bring It On,
terrible.
All or Nothing. CBS All Access has announced the name of the new Good Wife spinoff.
Oh, with Christine Baranski.
Yes.
What is it?
You don't know what it is?
I don't. I just saw that Christine.
Do you have a guess?
I do not have The Bad Wife. I do not know.
The Good Fight. I know. It's disappointing, right?
Yeah.
That's not a good name. So the drama, which again stars Christine Baranski and Cush Jumbo, who were both actors on The Good Wife, will premiere in February. And this is because the Star Trek series, which was supposed to be the first scripted series on CBS All Access, has been pushed back because they've had some showrunner changes. That is a terrible name. I just can't get over it.
It is a terrible name. You know that Brain Dead is not coming back, which is the other show from the
Who
summer.
was looking out for that?
I know. I'm just saying.
No one's looking out for Brain Dead.
I'm just saying it was terrible. Okay, good.
Yeah, no one cares. In some older news, you guys may have heard about this already, but I have to bring it up on the podcast. Leah Remini, Scientology in the Aftermath, is a new docuseries that is premiering on A&E on Tuesday, November 29th at 10 p.m., and Erin is so excited.
I'm sorry, but talk about why are people interested in this? Erin is a huge Leah fan.
I'm a huge fan of Leah Remini. She had a reality show that was so funny, and I really loved her family. It was very endearing. Also, King of Queens, hello.
Duh. Whatever.
Stacey Carosi, Saved by the Bell.
That's your generation.
Yes, it is. So this series will be sharing the truth about Scientology, says Remini. Truth born out of very personal experiences. And there's only one thing I love more than Leah Remini.
And that is Scientology.
That is Scientology.
Debunking.
All of the above. I mean, I'll watch anything about Scientology, except for those propaganda videos. Those I can't get behind. And in our final piece of news for this week, it was announced that Jennifer Lopez will be starring in Bye Bye Birdie Live on NBC for next year.
Going for an old chestnut.
What does that mean?
And well, it's not a particularly exciting musical.
I've never seen it. I don't even know what it is. Oh, wait, here it is. Okay, this is according to TV Line. Birdie takes place in the rock and roll 50s with pop idol singer Conrad Birdie.
Sort of an Elvis stand-in.
Got it. Preparing to serve in the army. But he's holding a contest to give one lucky fan a kiss before this sounds terrible. Yeah. This sounds like Win a Date with Tad Hamilton. Remember that movie with Josh Duhamel?
I do. It kind of is.
It's the same thing.
It's a fine musical. It's just not a very interesting pick.
Yeah. Well, J-Lo is also executive producing it, which is either how they got her on board or why she's starring in it. One of those two things. Both. All right. So moving along here, as we mentioned, we have this great interview coming up with We McDonald, who is from my hometown of Paterson, New Jersey.
Don't forget, girlfriend.
Hello.
I'm from Paterson.
Hi, Way. It's Erin and Vicki here, the host of Remote Possibilities, a TV podcast. We are so happy to have you on with us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
In case you don't realize, we're also the star ledger at NJ.com, and we're very thrilled to see a Paterson girl make it this far.
Woo! Yeah.
I was telling Vicki before, I am also from Paterson, which I think I bring up all the time. So I am extra excited to see you doing so well on this season of The Voice. How does it feel?
It feels really fantastic. You know, to get to the live playoffs, it's amazing.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you landed on The Voice? I know sometimes they have live auditions, but a lot of times it's somebody who knows somebody who puts your name forward.
I just did the regular cattle call. Mm-hmm. You know, you go to one big place and you keep going through the rounds, and then you hopefully get to the blind audition. That's how everything started.
At what point did you realize that, oh my God, I'm actually going to make it on the show?
It was just, I didn't even realize. I was just kind of going through the motions of everything. So when they finally told me, it was just an amazing experience. It was sort of like a good dream come true.
So you're on Alicia Keys' team. What was it about her that made you select her as your coach?
She was very personal, but She was also very business oriented. She kind of saw my vision a little bit better than I thought the other judges did. I thought that it was really, really cool how she just saw me and she knew who I was automatically. So that's why I picked her.
Well, I know that one of the reasons why you're such a standout singer, I mean, you have an amazing voice, but the contrast with your speaking voice is so startling. And I was wondering, have you always sung so deeply, or is that something you developed?
I think I've always been like that, as long as I can remember, because, well, as far as I was concerned, it was normal to have the kind of voice that I did. So I didn't think it was abnormal to kind of just, you sang with a deep voice and your speaking voice, it was just something different. No one really thought anything of it until I hit a stage.
Now, wait, you're a little younger than Vicki and me, but do you remember the singer Michelle?
Yeah, everybody compares me to her. Yeah, her voice is a lot higher than mine, though.
Absolutely. No, her voice is definitely a lot higher, but she definitely has that powerful, soulful singing voice that you certainly have as well. So you're in good company.
What kind of career do you see yourself having after this? I mean, what kind of music do you feel is your music?
I'm going to be one of the world's greatest entertainers, so I definitely don't see myself being limited. So wherever I feel like I can go, I'll go. There's no specific area.
Now, do you think that might be acting, or, you know, if you put on a stage show, will there be dancing? Like, what are some of your other talents that we haven't seen? All of the above. I love it.
Dancing, singing, piano, all of it.
Well,
I've been trained in everything, so I love it all.
Part of your story going on the show is that your voice and maybe how you looked, a lot of people teased you, and you really found an outlet and confidence in singing. What point did that happen for you?
I was in maybe about 7th grade, and I heard Bohemian Rhapsody, and it made me cry. And I wanted to kind of make songs like that too. I wanted to make songs that people can relate to.
People can relate to Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, I mean, as nuts though as the song is, you know, the beginning of it is phenomenal to me, at least. So yeah, I know that song like the back of my hand. So I don't know. I think that was just kind of a big turning point in my life. That's when I decided, like, you know, hey, I have to make music that makes people feel, whether they feel good, whether they feel bad, whether they kind of reminisce, you know. I just have to have some sort of a good feeling.
Well, you also started to study at the Harlem School of the Arts?
Yeah. As an after-school program, I was there for vocal, dance, and acting.
And now I think you registered for William Patterson University's jazz program, but are you actually, I mean, you can't be attending class, right? You're pretty busy.
I am attending class.
Oh, wow.
You are? How is that even possible?
Yes. I have a 4-year scholarship, so I guess they weren't going to let me go because of it. So,
if they knew what was good for them.
I don't know, you know, just fighting for it.
Yeah, we love to hear that, you know. What was it like growing up for you in Patterson? You know, it's not, you know, the ritziest place on the planet. Vicki's giving me a look. Vicki, I grew up there. Okay. Hello.
I'm just wondering where that was going.
No, because I want to know. Like, there are a lot of after-school programs, but there aren't that many kids that take advantage of them. Like, how did you make sure that you didn't end up in the circumstances where a lot of kids in Patterson end up, which is, you know, not going to William Patterson College or advancing in their careers or education?
My parents definitely helped me with that. I feel like people who have a lack of foundation don't really know where to go, so they cling on to something temporary, or they cling on to something that makes them feel good, but it may not be the best thing. And for me, I was raised in a very loving environment and a strong environment. So I definitely had the foundation to kind of pull myself along and want better for myself.
I love to hear that, because I do think people have a negative impression about Paterson and the young people that grow up there. And I think that you're a great example of what you can do with your life. And I won't pat myself on the back, but I'm also a great example. And so I think it's great that you're telling your story and letting people know that there is more out there.
Out of all the performances you've done so far on the show, which one were you the most nervous about, or do nerves not affect you anymore?
Nerves definitely, they affect me, but I think the most nerve-wracking one was the blind audition, because I didn't necessarily know who was going to turn for me. I think that was the most nerve-wracking, but nerves are good, when the nerves are kind of like excitement more than fear. People misinterpret it as fear, and it's not. At least it shouldn't be if you love what you're doing. It's excitement and it's anxiousness. So I feel like once that goes, you're not doing the right thing anymore. Like, as long as, when it's not fun anymore, then something's wrong.
You don't always get to choose what songs you want to do on the show. What is a song that you are dying to do?
Song that I'm dying to do. Amy Winehouse, Back to Black.
Ooh. I'd like to hear that.
I love that.
Do you give it a different kind of spin?
You'll have to see.
Oh, we have to wait and see. So, Vicki is our resident voice expert. I don't watch The Voice, I must admit. Of course, I've seen your performances, which have all been great. What's the next stage? Aren't we at the what is it called?
The live playoffs are next.
Live playoffs. Wait, is that new?
Yeah.
Well, it's weird. They always seem to tweak the format a little bit, but I think it's each coach now has 5 people left, and they get it down to 3, correct? Yeah. Okay, and then the viewers get to pick 2, and then the coach gets to pick 1.
Oh,
yeah.
That sounds serious.
And this round is different. This round is a little different because we're not having a Tuesday results show. We're having real-time voting.
Oh, that's right, because there's something happening next Tuesday. What is it again? Oh, that's right, the election.
So what does that mean, the real time? So that means on that day you'll find out whether or not you advance?
Yeah, so it goes from 20 people to 12 people. So, in that day. So there's a whole bunch of information on how to vote, but you have to vote, that day. As soon as Carson is just voting is open, you have to be okay, vote.
Right.
Got to get your social media teams primed. There are a couple of other New Jersey people who have made it this far. Allie Caldwell and Brendan Fletcher. Have you had a chance to spend any time with them?
Yeah, they're really cool.
Allie comes from, I think, Plainfield, and she's pretty seasoned. She's been around for a long time. Has she given you any advice?
She just tells me to just keep going. Everybody just says to keep going. That's the biggest advice, because it's, as easy as it sounds, they're you don't necessarily have a choice. Well, no, sometimes people do. So, we just have to keep going in everything that we love,
And is that the best piece of advice you've received from Alicia, or is there something else that she shared with you?
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely. To just continue to be yourself. I feel like that's really all that she taught me. There's, of course, little technical things, but it's not as important as the main message of her saying, you have to continue to be yourself. Dress how you dress. Act how you act. Be you, and it's okay. And if people don't like it, that's their problem.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot to be said about being authentic on these, reality competition shows, because I think the people that try to blend in the most are usually the most boring. So absolutely be yourself.
And we do love your style. I love that. Was it the motorcycle jacket with the bow tie last week?
Yeah.
It's adorable.
It was cool. Thank you. I'm kind of like a hip hop hipster, I guess you can kind of.
I have my headline.
Coin a new phrase, hashtag hip hop hipster.
Well,
Hashtag hip hop hipster.
Yes.
we appreciate you talking to us today, and I don't want to ruin anything, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna be able to talk to you in the future because I predict good things ahead for you.
Thank you.
We'll definitely be voting. So good luck.
Yay!
Thanks, Way. Well, that was nice talking to Way. She seems lovely. I love her hip-hop hipster.
Yeah, she's really cute. She's just adorable.
She is cute. I love her hair.
The only thing I'm slightly worried about is that sometimes the early front runners don't always, make it through to the end. But I mean, last year we had that Allison. I can't remember her last name anymore.
We've had this discussion. I mean, it's nice to win The Voice, but I think the real work begins after the show. And, it's up to the contestant and their mentors to sort of shepherd their careers, if you want to say that. Because we haven't really yet had a contestant on The Voice who's gone to the level of, let's say, a Kelly Clarkson or a Carrie Underwood or even a Fantasia Barrino, right?
But you have to remember also, those are people all in the first 5 years of the show.
That's true. Yeah, but The Voice, even when it began, they didn't have anyone.
No, they didn't. I can't even remember who the first people were.
I don't even know. How long has The Voice been on at this point?
This is the 11th season, although they do it twice a year.
That's right. And then we know that next season, Gwen is coming back, and Miley is leaving, and Alicia will be there, and Adam and Blake.
Adam and Blake are always there.
Always there.
The North Star.
I mean, Maroon 5 is
get a room already.
Still releasing music. And Blake Shelton, it's just like, how do you do all these things? I don't know. Well, we'll have to stick around and see how far away and the other New Jersey contestants make
Allie
it.
Caldwell and Brandon Fletcher.
We're rooting for all of them.
Randolph, Allie Caldwell, Plainfield.
I'm not from either of those cities.
Although they both live in New York now, so that's why we're talking away.
Well, I would root for them a little less anyway, because she's my hometown girl.
Well, Allie Caldwell is actually pretty amazing.
Is she?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, look, I say all these things like I'm going to check it out. I'm really not. I don't have time for that. But something I do have time for because, well, we have to. Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Finale.
Oh, thank
my God. Only 2 more episodes.
Goodness. I mean.
Somebody tweeted me the other day, because, I live tweet the episodes.
Yeah.
And she says, well, I've been following you for a long time, and I can't always tell from your tweets whether you're a fan or you just like to judge. And I was like, that is a complicated question. I mostly just like to judge.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you're a fan.
There were a few moments where I'm like, that actually touched me, or I thought that was really funny.
But it doesn't make you a fan of the show.
It doesn't make you a fan of the show, but, I don't judge all the time, is what I'm saying. I can acknowledge that there are things that happen that do seem genuine that I am touched by.
Okay, I completely agree with that. So on this week's episode, we get the final confrontation, or until the finale, until the reunion between Teresa, Jacqueline, and Melissa.
Mm-hmm. And Dolores.
And Dolores.
That's solved pretty quickly.
Okay, so let's just skip right to the last 25 minutes of the show.
We're not going to talk about my amazing cameo at the fashion show.
I almost forgot.
I was not blurred out.
You know why? Because I watched it on Friday in the sneak peek, and then when I watch a sneak peek, I fast forward right to the next segment on the day of. Okay, so remember we were having the contest to see who could spot Vicki in the Melissa Envy fashion show scenes, and I won the contest.
Yes,
I know it was for you guys, our listeners, but I watched the sneak peek on Friday, and here are Siggy and Melissa.
No, it was
Dolores.
It was Dolores.
Teresa.
No, it was Dolores, Kathy, and Teresa.
Okay, Dolores, Kathy, and Teresa are chatting it up. Where were you guys?
That was in the eggplant rollatini room.
No. What was the plate?
I can't remember. It was a catering.
It was
hall
in North Jersey.
North Jersey, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't remember.
So they're
the
discussing.
It was not the brownstone.
No, it wasn't the brownstone. They were discussing something. I can't even remember because I was so transfixed by this beauty in the background.
We were discussing Jacqueline.
Sure. This beauty in the background wearing
Gorgeous.
her green cardigan.
As I wear every day. I'm wearing a green cardigan today, too.
Who at times you would think was looking directly into the camera.
I was not. I didn't even see the camera, really.
It just seemed
I was trying to hear what they were saying so I can get to people the scoop. But actually, it's funny because I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I did see Teresa kind of stalk off, and then I was live tweeting it. Then you see me live tweeting it.
Yes, it was amazing. Vicki was in so many camera shots there that you could tell how they edited the show just based on where Vicki was in the frame.
I expect a contract offer any day now.
Any day. And if you guys have not seen the photos, you can look at our Twitter handle, which I didn't mention at the beginning of the show, at Remote Podcast, or at E_Meds, and at Vicki High, VICKIHY. Okay, so now let's fast forward to the worst lunch
at
meeting
Rails
ever.
Steakhouse, the only place in North Jersey, the only restaurant in North Jersey.
Can we go the Rails?
Absolutely.
We'll
take the train.
Let's just go.
Okay.
I mean, why not?
Why aren't we podcasting from there?
Oh my gosh! Live taping of Remote Possibilities at Rails. For the finale.
The same private room.
Let's do it.
Okay.
And then we can have a big fight. No, we'll walk in and I'll be like, Vicki, you sit here, which is kind of like how this podcast goes on a weekly basis.
Exactly how it goes. I'll be wearing a sundress, you'll be wearing furs. Yeah.
Like, what was the weather that day?
I don't know. And that was actually one of my favorite moments of Watch What Happens Later, was that Andy asked, was like, why were you wearing fur? Why were you wearing a sundress? And Melissa's like, oh, well, it's like what is in North Jersey in March or April. You know, it could be 70, it could be 50. And Andy's like, it was the same day.
It's the same day. Like, you dress for the weather of the day, so you would both wear the same thing. Okay. But, okay, whatever.
Tangent.
We're going to talk about Watch What Happens Live, too, because I thought good things happened there. So when Dolores arrived, and Jacqueline and Siggy were already there, and Jacqueline's saying, you know, I really want to talk to Teresa and Melissa one-on-one, and, you know, Dolores and I had this fight, and Dolores walks in, and they hug, and it's very civil. You know what it seemed like, Vicki?
What?
Real life, when you have a tiff with a friend.
And you realize it's so silly.
Silly, and you make up, and you move on, and you're like, all right, we're dumb, whatever. It was normal.
It was normal.
I liked it. And I was like, all right, this is going to go in the right direction.
What show have you been watching the last 7 years? And I have to ask that about Siggy, too. Because leading up to this lunch that she put together, she was like, we're just going to talk. We're going to speak civilly. We're not going to raise our voice. We're all going to leave like ladies. And I'm like, hello.
I think Siggy is so delusional. She doesn't know what show she's on.
Siggy, come on our show. I really want to talk to you about this. We're trying to make it happen.
Like, I need to know what she thought she was getting into, because it was certainly not Real Housewives of New Jersey, because she thinks everything can be like roses and sunshine and people will just make up and get along. And to her credit, the Dolores Jacqueline makeup was just that.
But Siggy really didn't have anything to do with that. They both decided, this is stupid. We've been friends for a long time.
Right. Well, then Teresa and Melissa show up. And Jacqueline went from 0 to like 5,000 in a split second. It was like a Jekyll and Hyde moment, unlike anything I've ever seen on one of these housewives shows.
It was incredible. I mean, you're talking to a person who doesn't hate Jacqueline.
Me neither.
I don't think she's like completely whacked out like a lot of people do think she is. But it was like, where is that coming from?
And you know, sometimes I'm a Jacqueline apologist. And even I was kind of like, well, that is not how you speak to someone you want to make up with. It's not even how you speak to someone you just want to have a conversation with, even if you know that you're not going to make up with them.
And Melissa, you will leave.
Yes.
And the weird thing is that she actually did talk to Siggy, like, I want to talk to her one-on-one. And Siggy's like, okay. And so Siggy is like, yeah.
And Siggy was on board with the one-on-one conversation, and even Teresa and Melissa were on board. Well,
later they were like,
yeah, we would have done it. It was just the way that it was
strange,
very strange. Which makes me think, and you know I hate to blame the editing, that there must have been something that happened between the time Dolores entered and then, you know, Melissa and Teresa showed up.
Because, of course, we've had editing glitches before.
Right.
We don't know what was up with Rosie and Joe at the book signing. We don't know what was up, but we do know now what was up with Robin.
Right.
And Jacqueline, you know, Rage on My.
Right. Because I can't imagine.
Sloppy.
I agree. I can't, this whole season. But I can't imagine that Jacqueline just, you know, changed like that out of nowhere.
I don't know.
It just seemed weird.
It was very strange.
It was strange. But I will still say, and I think I said this to you before, is that I think Teresa in calling Jacqueline evil, like in the scenes leading up to this thing.
Oh my God, it didn't stop. There were like 5 different harangues about like she's evil, she's Osama bin Laden.
Yes.
I mean, it was like, okay, chill out.
It's like so over the top. It's very unbelievable. And I think that is one of Teresa's main issues, is that she may have a valid point every once in a while, but she takes it to such an extreme where it's just like, okay, this is ridiculous.
Well, the other thing that I find bothersome about how she reacts to people is that there are certain people that she just gets stuck on, and they're evil, and you can never forgive them. And there are some people, like, for example, Kim D, who is saying that Joe cheated on her, who says all these horrible things, and just laughs it off.
Right.
That's I don't even listen
and that was
to
not
her.
Watch What Happens
That
Live.
was not Watch What Happens, but it's like, well, make up your mind.
Right. It's very strange.
I mean, she forgave Melissa when Melissa did all these horrible things to her, like, I don't know, cheat on her. I don't even know.
I put forgave in quotes because I still don't buy any of that relationship. I think that is a relationship of convenience, and that so let's get into Watch What Happens Live. So Melissa and Teresa were both on, right? In their white and black outfits. It's like the man in the white hat and the man in the black hat situation on Westworld, which we're going to talk about after this. And I think they doubled down. It's like, I can't buy into this friendship. What do you think?
I think that coming from Melissa's perspective, she wants to have a relationship with Teresa, not just for the show, but because it would make it easier for everybody. Mm-hmm. And I really do think that Melissa is a little more tuned into reality than Teresa is. And so Melissa knows she just got to, like, you know, go along to get along, and puts up with a lot of stuff from Teresa that a normal person would not. Whereas, like, we've talked about this before, like, everybody sort of tiptoe around Teresa and whatever. Yeah. And I'm not really sure. I think Teresa is sort of like accepts things at face value, so she sees Melissa tiptoeing around her and like being the good sister-in-law, so she's fine.
And she thinks it's
not
genuine.
a lot of self-respect, a lot of self-reflection. Actually, that was a moment that was really funny about the dinner where the lunch where Siggy and Jacqueline were talking, and Siggy was saying, "Well, I don't know if Teresa is capable of." Oh, yes. And Jacqueline's like comprehending. He's like, "Oh, don't make me say that."
Right.
It's true.
It is true. Well, the one thing that I found really interesting on Watch What Happens Live was Andy Cohen asked Melissa about her relationship with Caroline,
because a viewer had asked Teresa, does she want to, after she got back together with Danielle, does she want to get back together with Caroline?
And she said no. She said no. And then, and we can assume this has to do with the allegations she's going to make at the reunion about Caroline and Jacqueline setting her up with the feds,
which is insane.
Another way for her to deflect that she actually committed a crime. Like, yes. you did that. I don't care who.
Her pen did it.
I don't care who turned you in. Anyway, so then Andy asked Melissa if she has a relationship with Caroline. Melissa's like, no, I mean, we don't talk every day or anything, but if I see her, we're totally fine. Teresa interrupts and is like, yeah, when it's convenient to her. And I'm like,
and Melissa doesn't even understand.
Melissa doesn't know what's going on.
And then she's like, when it's good, and Andy's like, oh, when it's good for Melissa, and Teresa's like, no, when it's good for Caroline. And Melissa's like,
Melissa was not on board with this until Teresa, and then it was all of a sudden, like, in that moment, what I thought back to Jacqueline when they're at the ski lodge, and I'm like, Melissa has become a soldier for Teresa.
Oh, she has. I would totally agree. I would totally agree with that.
Right?
Yeah. And it's just sad that Teresa needs soldiers,
right?
Because somebody shouldn't need soldiers.
No, and she doesn't need soldiers.
She doesn't need soldiers.
If she would be a little more self-reflective, which. All right. Maybe she can't be, but if she could be, she would need soldiers. Mm-hmm. Everything would just be more honest and open, and I guess that would make this show more boring than it was this season, because it was kind of dry.
It was pretty dull. And also, to be fair, Teresa is raising 4 kids on her own now, and she probably needs as much a support system as she can. And I think it's just good for everybody that Melissa and Teresa... I really don't have a problem with Melissa and Teresa being together.
I don't have a problem with them being together. The only problem that I have is that I just don't feel like it's genuine.
Well, my main issue is that Teresa still feels like she had to forgive Melissa.
Right.
And Melissa, who really deserves an apology, is Melissa.
Correct.
Right.
And the fact that Melissa...
what we've seen from the show.
Right, and the fact that Melissa is willing to just... be like, all right, forget it. I don't need my apology.
I was a stripper.
Just to make everything okay. That I don't like. I think this show has set women back 50 years. Did I say that last week? I think I'm going to say it again.
I've said it in every single recap because two season, of the storylines were from the 1970s.
I agree.
Women work outside the home?
Oh my gosh. Does that happen?
Can women vote these days?
Crumbs. You bring home the crumbs. I bring home the cake.
That was pretty harsh.
And then Dolores and her kitchen remodel.
Oh my god, I need to get some confidence back, so I'm going to renovate my kitchen with my ex-husband's money.
I can't. All of
Mazel
these.
tov.
It's just so much that I cannot take as a working woman in the 21st century. I just All right. Anyway, 2 more episodes.
2 more episodes.
And then you'll never have to hear us talk about this again.
Yes, you will.
Next year.
What? Who do you think's coming back next year? Do you think it's going to be Danielle's in it and Jacqueline's out?
No. I think Jacqueline would also come back because remember, Jacqueline and Danielle were friends.
Yes.
Jacqueline's the one who stood up for Danielle at this infamous table flip dinner. So no, I think Jacqueline would come back. I think Danielle should come back. I think we can get rid of Siggy because she irritates me. Sorry, Siggy. Hopefully you'll come on the show. We can talk it through, but for right now.
So you keep Siggy over Dolores?
No, I keep Dolores over Siggy.
I'm sorry, I'm surprised by that because I think Siggy actually does offer more than Dolores does.
Look, both of them need a new storyline because their storylines were not good.
I like seeing the Jewish family on the show too. That's nice.
Great, but the storylines were boring. I think they need to go outside of the circle and maybe bring in people that they do not know personally. That was Siggy.
But no, that didn't work out with last season with the Marcheses and the twins. That didn't work at all.
I disagree. I liked Amber on the show. I liked Amber and I liked Jim. I don't know why they didn't bring them back.
Very forced.
I didn't, but you don't watch the other Housewives.
I do not watch the other Housewives.
Well, that's the problem.
And
it actually works out well.
Okay.
In most of the other franchises. Which, by the way, I'd like to challenge you to watch the season premiere of Real Housewives of Atlanta. You don't have to recap it. You just have to watch it. You'll do it. It'll be fine. It'll be great. You'll see the difference between a crappy show and this one. Oh, no, wait. A good show and this crappy one. I said that backwards. Yes, next weekend. Next Sunday. All right. So, a show that we don't think is crappy, that has some questionable women characters.
And some very sloppy people, too. Sloppy. I'm talking about the technicians who leave, bullets inside people.
Would be Westworld.
Yes.
Vicki and I are both still watching. Hopefully you guys are watching, too. We're a little ahead, but we're really trying not to spoil anything.
We're not going to spoil anything.
So episode 5 is the one where we find out there's a mole.
Yes.
Oh, whew, all right. I wasn't sure if that was
Elsie found sort of a satellite uplink in the guy who put the rock over his head and bashed his head in.
Right. Yes. So do you think we know who the mole is?
Oh, now you're asking. Well, it's hard because you do find out who the mole is.
You do.
You do. But
okay.
I'm actually finished with episodes 6 and 7. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to spoil anything.
All right.
So let's not go there.
Let's not go there. All right. So what happened in episode 5?
I think the 2 most important things is that we see the man in black who is continuing his search to find the center of the maze and actually
James Wood.
Stop it! You're confusing people. No, it's Ed Harris. It's Ed Harris. Just stop it.
I really thought I had it right that time. Damn it!
So he's trying to find the center of the maze, and very interestingly, he actually has an encounter with with Robert Ford himself.
Yes.
And it's a sort of menacing encounter. And at one point, Ford uses his juju to stop
Teddy.
Like he picks up a knife or something. Like I don't know. Ed Harris is going to do something to him. The man in black is going to do something to Ford.
Right.
And Teddy's just puts his hand out there and stops it from happening. I think it's very interesting, all the information we're starting to learn about the mysterious Arnold, who was Ford's partner at the beginning of the park and apparently committed suicide in the park some 34 years earlier to some of the action.
And he was the architect of the first robots.
He was the architect of the first robots. And Ed Harris's character, the man in black, wants to figure out we're led to run. Is Arnold at the center of the mystery? Did Arnold really kill himself?
Right.
A lot of people are sort of started off speculating maybe the man in black was Arnold. He's not.
Right.
There was a picture you saw of the young Ford and Arnold. So there's a picture that exists of him. There's something interesting that is absolutely not a spoiler. It has not been confirmed on any level by any of the episodes I've seen. I'm wondering if Ford created Arnold and Arnold was an original host or an original robot. Mm-hmm. Because at one point earlier in the season, they were talking about, some of the hosts were designed by robots, were designed by computers, and we don't really know how it works. And so I'm wondering if one of the reasons why there was a schism between Ford and Arnold is because Arnold wanted to see the hosts, he didn't want to see his fellow robots be treated like they are treated.
Right.
Just a theory I'm throwing out there.
Well, I will say this. Arnold sounds like a robot name. Now that you mention it, Arnold sounds very robot, doesn't it? Like,
I guess
your robot Arnold.
It is a little uncommon. It's a little weird name.
It's a weird name. And that would also make sense because I've been saying this whole time. How did Arnold die in the park when we know that people cannot die in the park? We have yet to see anyone die in the park at their hands or at the hands of someone else.
Did Ford kill him? Did he commit suicide? I mean,
but if he was a host or a robot, then it would make sense because they can die and they can be retired.
Yeah, and is that a story that Ford cooked up? Is that a story that Ford and Arnold cooked up together? I don't know. It's very intriguing.
It is. Now, I will say that one where I think Westworld is going wrong, two things actually. Okay. Too many people.
There are
to
a lot
follow.
Of people.
It's very Game of Thrones in that way.
Like next episode, there's like they threw another person in, and it's like, oh my god, you're kidding me.
And this is the problem that I had when I never watched Game of Thrones from the beginning. I binged it. I think it was when they were about to start season 4. I binged the first 3 seasons, and it took me all 3 seasons and a little of 4 to actually remember who all the people are and how they were all related and what their stories were. And I am feeling that way with Westworld because they keep adding in new people, and I'm just like, who, what, huh? So it's hard. So I think that's a problem. And then also, they've introduced this idea of the maze with the man in black, and then you see it a little more as the series progresses. And I'm just like, do we need that mystery on top of like everything else that's happening?
Well, I think it's the central mystery.
I know, but then we have the whole thing about the robots and their thinking and whether or not they're becoming more human. And
I think where it gets confusing is when they take the robots out and they like take Dolores out and they have these conversations with her, both Bernard and Ford, and you're just not really sure when this is happening. I mean, there was like this one instance where Dolores right now is on a voyage of self-discovery with William and Logan, and actually there has a great line about how I think it was during the holdup of the Army nitroglycerin convoy, whatever, and Dolores ends up, I think, shooting some people, and she's like, I decided I don't want to be the damsel anymore. I'm like, yes, girl.
Her outfit changed as well.
I mean,
let's be more obvious.
Yes. So I think that they are sort of, and Logan, the evil black-hatted soon-to-be brother-in-law, is trying to get to the center. He's also trying to get the center. Where does the story go? And he's going to places we haven't seen, like Pariah, where we have this weird, orgy scene too.
Right. And that's where the Confederados are.
Yeah.
Right?
And so I think these two stories are just like they're leading to the same place.
Right.
Where do the stories end, and what is the greater purpose of all this? And it's it's also a voyage of self-discovery in a sense for William, because they had the very, very interesting moment where we find out that Logan's family, very wealthy family, is looking to see whether or not they want to invest more in Westworld. It's apparently very expensive.
Right.
They're hemorrhaging money, and then he's trying to get William to like sort of get in on the get into the spirit of things, and William doesn't really want to, and then Logan just rips him apart, makes him feel very small, and then later when the people who are running Pariah find out that they took off the nitroglycerin isn't there, they start beating on Logan, like seriously beating on Logan, which I don't think they're supposed to be able to do.
Right.
And William just leaves him there.
He does.
And I think Logan actually seemed like a little like upset, but also like, oh yeah, you got sucked into.
Right. Well, I guess no one can remain a white hat for long in Westworld.
You shouldn't.
My other question was, how long does one stay in Westworld?
Well, that's an interesting thing.
Because time is a little fluid there.
Well, we discussed last week about the idea of are you convinced before or against this double timeline theory that's been going around?
I'm convinced with the double timeline theory.
That William or possibly Logan, but probably William becomes the man in black.
Maybe.
Okay.
That part I'm not so convinced of yet, but the two timelines, absolutely.
I think one of the things that sort of convinces me that that's an issue is that we see a very long storyline that the robots don't seem to reset like they did earlier in the show. Like the very first episode, you see Dolores like continually resetting herself,
right?
But we don't know which timeline that's in. And so I was like, well, in the later timeline, do they have like these continuing adventures? And in the new timeline, they don't. Although Ed Harris is on this very long adventure.
Correct.
Too. It's very strange. They're really messing with us. And that is something that they do not confirm or deny in the next few episodes.
So how many episodes do we get? 10?
10 episodes.
Oh, I don't know if that's going to be enough.
Yeah.
And then we have to wait for the
next
next
season.
So,
okay.
So we'll figure it out eventually.
I think they're going at a decent pace. I'm pretty happy so far.
All right. Well, I still love the show. I think there's a lot happening, which keeps my interest, and
it's a lot to think about.
A lot to think about. And if you have any thoughts on Westworld, definitely tweet us at Remote Podcast, at @E_meds, and at Vicki High, VICKIHY. We will be back next week to talk more about Westworld, the Real Housewives of New Jersey finale or reunion. Why do I keep calling it? Because I want it to be over.
Yes.
I think that's why. The reunion show, and I'm sure a bunch of other things. Like, we need to talk about The Walking Dead. We didn't even get to Carol and Ezekiel, right?
We did Ezekiel and the tiger.
And the tiger. But maybe next week.